Good morning, everybody. This is Sarah Wood from the Office of the State Fire Marshal. If you couldn't make the webinar last night on October 15th, 2015, we're going to cover basically everything again today. This is the AFG application numbers that I can generate from you based on the Kansas Fire Incident-Based Reporting System, or KFIRS or INFIRS, whatever you want to call it. Two things. I'm not emailing the numbers out this year. It was difficult to get the numbers to the right person, and it was difficult for people who are writing regional grants to get the numbers for other fire departments. The second thing is, I would have loved to get this on our website to make it easier to find, but it was just too big. So hopefully you received the link to this, or you can email me if you didn't get it. The link is up here, but I don't know how well it will work typing it in. Otherwise, just email me. The one thing that I want to say about these numbers first is that most of these categories for ALS, BLS, and extrication are generated based on your actions taken. So your first, your second, and your third actions taken. If you don't use ALS, BLS, and extrication, then these numbers are going to be off for you. You can get with me, we can talk about it. I mention it in every INFIRS reporting class and every INFIRS ops data analysis class that that's as good as I can get for your INFIRS reporting. What I've done here is if one of your actions taken, whether it's your first, second, or third, if it says provided ALS, it's here in ALS. If it says provided BLS, it's here in BLS. If it said extrication in one of your incident types was one of the vehicle accidents, it's here in vehicle extrications. Now, you'll note here is a new category that was not in the past, and that's ALS with vehicle extrications. The question was raised on what if you have a vehicle accident where you provided ALS? And I contacted the AFG grant help desk, and they said it depends. Are you asking for extrication? Are you asking for ALS? Or are you asking for both? So here I have basically given you the power to choose, because they said you could put it in ALS, you could put it in extrications, or you could even put it in both. And I didn't want to assume for the few fire departments that this affects, I didn't want to assume how you want to handle it. So you get to choose. You get to choose whether you want to put these few reports in extrication, ALS, or whether you want to put it in both. If you put it in both, your totals are going to be a little off, but from what I'm told, that's okay, okay with them. Now, what I have kind of noticed as the state program manager is that ALS with vehicle extrications, this is a really low number. And with your extrications, I would have assumed that if you're extricating somebody in your vehicle wreck, given the severity, that ALS should be maybe a little higher on that. So maybe those first, second, and third actions, that extrication isn't making it on as one of those. So check and see how you're doing your reporting, because I think that this is way underreported across the state, because there have to be more than 38 vehicle accidents where ALS was provided with extrication. On the next note, if you are an EMS providing fire department and you don't do all of your EMS reporting in INFIRS, you're one of those departments that you can't trust my numbers. You're going to have to generate your numbers yourself. You can probably trust the fires and the hazmat and everything else. It's just the ALS and the BLS. You probably shouldn't trust the other rescue and the other incident, or the other calls and incidents here. You're going to have to double check and do that in-house. And your total calls is going to be way off, because I know for those fire departments who don't report all their EMS, if your EMS is a large chunk of what you do, your total calls are going to be very low for me. Along that line, if you're one of the fire departments that transports, I do not pull the transport numbers, because again, the only way I could do that is if it's one of the first, second, or third actions taken. However, when AFG and their application numbers, when they say transport, they mean scheduled transports, and there's really no way for me to know if that transport was really transporting from the scene of an emergency or a scheduled transport. So if you're a department who does scheduled transports, that number is up to you to generate. I don't have a good way of pulling those numbers. Over on the right side, we have acres burned here. I want you to know that these acres are just from acres burned on hostile fires. And hostile fires means that your incident type begins with a 1. So anything in the 100 range. If you're putting acres burned on a controlled grass fire, So an authorized grass fire or a controlled or prescribed burn, those are not going to be in here. And you'll notice even last year I had issues with the calculations for acres burned where I had to send it out 2 or 3 times. Part of that was some fire departments were calculating with their acres burned on their controlled grass fires and were saying that my calculations were off, and I was trying to figure out where they were, and that's where it came from with the hostile fires. Going further down, I also give you any fatalities and injuries for your civilian fires and your fire service fatality and injuries. On the left side, I give you your mutual aid call volume. These are the categories that they ask you right in the application. Now, having said that, I should tell you that your department's first due call volume is what they ask for and does not include any calls where you have said you've given aid. Departments all the time over-report giving aid, and I'll use the example of AMR in Shawnee County where I live. Any Shawnee County Fire Department, if they are working with AMR, that does not count as aid given either automatic or mutual for KFIRS purposes. And the reason is AMR is not a fire department. So if you are not aiding another fire department or you both don't make the scene, that does not count as automatic or mutual aid given. If you are over-reporting your mutual aid, you are hurting yourself on your first due call volume because, like I said, I have to take out all of the mutual aid given from these numbers. So if you are one of those departments that has been over-reporting on your aid given, especially on your EMS calls, which I see all the time, get with me, we can clean them up. I'm happy to do a Excel spreadsheet of all of the calls. I can make a spreadsheet with it. It has about 76 different fields on it that includes your addresses, your actions taken, your incident type, mutual aid, your people, includes a whole bunch of different fields on them, and I'm happy to do that for any department that wants it. I have not just made it for every department across the state because it does take time, but if you request it, I'm happy to make it anytime. How Tableau works here is you find your fire department and you just click on it. And it is in county order and then FDID. I'm going to choose one that I know has everything. So I'm going to go to the bottom and choose Bonner Springs because I know they have every year and they have every category. So they've got BLS, and then they go on down. They've got 2012, 13, 14. They've got total calls, acres burned. They reported everything across the board here. If you want to reset, there's a reset button right here, and it goes back to normal. If you're writing a county-wide regional grant, the statistics that they want are all together, so you got to add everything together. So we've got Allen County. We'll just click on everything, and they add it all together here. So all those statistics are together. If you need just one fire department and you want to print it, I'll pick Garnett here. I think I did them earlier. You choose your fire department and then click Keep Only. And then scroll to the bottom and choose Download. I download it as a PDF. Then I got to scroll back up and then click on Export. I leave it as the default choices. There's really no need to change anything. You can hit download when it's done. I've already downloaded it. This is the Bonner Springs one. I did that one earlier, and it will download and it'll look like this, so all your numbers will be there, and that way you have them for later. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to get with me, email me, call me. If you submit more reports and you want me to update the numbers, if you are a third-party user like Firehouse or emergency reporting, in your email make sure to say, please update AFG grant statistics, and that way I know that you're going to be looking for them. If you are a federal client tool user, I don't necessarily know when you've done reports, so make sure to send me an email or give me a phone call. Thank you.